In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a modern navigation with an angled navicon as well as a beautiful full screen menu. And we'll do all of that with Elementor Pro. Hello, I'm your host Casino. I'm the Digital Alchemist, and today I'm going to show you how to create this beautiful navigation. So let's start in the top left corner. As you can see here, I have an angled call to action. And if I start scrolling, as you can see, it's staying fixed. Next, in the middle, I have the logo. And then on the right hand side, I have an angled navicon. So once again, if I start scrolling, as you can see, it's staying fixed. And now if I click on it, we have this beautiful navigation. On the left hand side, we have the logo and then a menu. It's somewhat of a shorter menu, and then we can add more elements of the menu here. And when we hover over those elements, there is a hover color, and we can click on the whole column and it will go to the page. Now, why a drone website? Well, why not? Now, to cut a long story short, I love all things digital, and on this channel, I want to create all things creative. And since not that long ago, I am a certified drone pilot. So I thought, hey, why not? Now, the footage on this website is not my footage yet because I still need to go and shoot some beautiful kind of scenery above the sea. I got some already, but I want some more beautiful ones. So I just picked a random video on YouTube. And by the way, if you're interested about this page, so let me show you. We got this page here, and then we have the blog sections, and then we have the blog. If I click on any of the blog items, we have this layout. If you're interested in knowing how I created this website, please let me know, and maybe I create a tutorial about it. And if I do, you'll find the link in the description below. So just let me know in the comments if you'd like to know how to create that. Okay, next, let's talk about what you need for this tutorial. So I'm using the Astra theme, the free version. So you may as well install it if you want to follow along. And then in terms of plugins, I'm using Elementor and Elementor Pro. And if you're serious about web design and you don't have Elementor Pro yet, you'll find a handy link in the description below. Now, the only reason why I recommend Elementor Pro is because I absolutely love it and recommend it all the time. And it gives a little kickback if you purchase through my link. And that, my friend, allows me to keep on creating free content just for you. Okay, next we need another plugin called Elementor Add-on Elements that you see right here. As you can see, I already clicked installed and then activate. Now, once you've done that, you will see here in the left panel, you will see Elementor Add-on Elements. Just click on it and then you will see this panel here. Now, by default, everything is enabled. So you want to disable everything except the wrapper link. And you'll understand later because we'll use this to make our columns clickable. So once you're okay, click on Save Changes and you're done. Okay, next we want to create our menu. And to do that, you want to go to Appearance, Menus. And then you want to give it a name. So you want to click on Create a New Menu. Then you'll find this screen, and I've added the name Main Menu. Next, you want to click on View All. And then you can add any page you want to add by clicking on Add to Menu. Now, in this case, I don't need it, so I'm just going to click on Remove. But then once you're happy, just click on Save Menu. Now you may be wondering, why do I only add home and blog in the menu? So let me show you. The menu is going to show here on the left hand side. Now here on the right hand side, I'm going to add it a different way, but it's still going to be the navigation. So this is why I only put 2 elements in here. Now, if you have a website with more pages, of course you can add more elements, but make sure you still have 4 elements that you can add here in the 4 slots. Okay, next it's time to create our pop-up. So for that, you want to go to Templates, Pop-ups, and then you want to click on Add New Pop-up. So I'm going to call mine Pop-up. Very original, I know. Then click on Create Template. Okay, and we don't need any of this. We're going to create it from scratch. So first of all, let's click on the plus sign, and we're going to add 3 columns for our section. Now, before we set up our section, we want to take care of our pop-up settings. So for that, you want to click on the gear icon in the bottom left corner. Okay, now we can start setting up our pop-up. So first of all, you want to click on VW for the width, and it's going to be 100. Next, for the height, you want to leave it on Fit to Content. Position horizontal, we leave it as is. Now, we just want to remove the overlay, but we want to keep the close button. Next, for the entrance animation, we want fade in and fade out. And then for the tablet, click on the responsive icon, click on tablet. And once again, we want fade in and fade out. Now it's already there, but I've seen some bugs with it. So I just want to make sure I just reset it even for the tablet. Next, click on mobile, and for this one is going to be different because we want slide in right and then slide out right. Now let's go back into desktop mode. Now for the animation duration, you want it to be 0,3. Okay, next let's go back up, click on the style tab. Next you want to click on close button, and then for the color you want to pick a light color. Now I've already set my colors and we'll talk about that in a moment. And then for the size you want to set it to 25. Okay, next let's go back up, and then you want to click on the advanced tab and you want to enable the disable page scrolling option. Next, you want to scroll down and click on the custom CSS tab. And then you're going to copy and paste the code that you find in the companion blog post. Now, this code is going to help us achieve this responsive layout. Okay, let me zoom back out and let's publish our work to make sure we save our work. So first of all, it's going to ask you to add a condition. So click on add condition. We want to include this on the entire website. Then click on next. We don't want any specific triggers or any advanced rules. So click on save and close. Okay, so far we took care of our pop-up settings, and right now we want to take care of our section settings that you see here in the middle. So with our section selected, you want to look in the left panel, and then where it says content width, you want to change it to full width. Next, the height to be a minimum height of 100 VH. Set the column position to stretch. And next you want to click on the structure tab and click on this setup here. So 50, 25, 25. So the first column is 50%, then 25 and 25. Next you want to click on the style tab. Then you want to click on background. Then click on the classic background type and then select a color. I want to pick a dark color. Okay, next you want to click on the advanced tab, and then you want to unlink the margin values and unlink the padding values so that you get 0 all over. Next, click on update. Okay, before we move on, let's take care of a couple of things. First of all, we want to rename the section and the columns because that's going to help down the line. So for that, you want to click on the navigator icon or use the shortcut, which is Command plus I on a Mac and Control plus I on a PC. And then I'm just going to rename my section main section, and then I'm just going to deploy the whole structure. So the first column, I'm just going to call it call 1, and then call 2, and finally call 3. Okay, so that's great. Let's click on update. Okay, and next you want to click on the navicon here in the top left corner. Then you want to click on site settings. Then you want to click on global colors, and this is where you want to set your colors because that's really going to help tremendously down the line. So already set mine. Just make sure you set yours for your project. Then you want to go back, click on global fonts, and then once again you want to add the global fonts that you'll be using. So in my case I use Poppins. Okay, let's go back. Once you're happy, if you made some changes, you need to click on update here. Then once you're done, just close this and we're back. Okay, now we're all set. Let's move on. Okay, once again, you want to expand the structure here in the navigator, and let's select our first column. So first of all, on the layout tab where it says vertical align, you want to change this to middle. Next, you want to click on the advanced tab, and where it says padding, we're going to unlink the values. So let me unlink the values, and then it's going to be 120 for the top, 60 on the right, 120 at the bottom, and 60 on the left hand side. And while we're at it, let's click on the responsive icon. Let's pick the tablet. Once again, let's unlink the values. And we want to give it 60 on the top, 0 on the right, 60 at the bottom, and 0 on the left. Now let's go into mobile mode, and we want to give it 20 all around. Next, where it says CSS classes, you want to add this class. So it's my-main. Make sure you spell it exactly like this because this is linked to the CSS code we previously copied and pasted. And let's go back into desktop mode. So next you want to select our second column. Then you want to click on the style tab. And next you want to click on the border sub tab. Where it says border type, you want to click on solid. Then you want to unlink the values, and it's going to be 0 on top, 1 on the right, 0 at the bottom, and 1 on the left. Now let's select our responsive icon, and then we're going to unlink the values for the tablet. And this time it's going to be 0 on top, 1 on the right, 0 at the bottom, and 0 on the left. Now let's take care of the mobile version, and this time it's going to be 0 all around. Next, where it says color, you want to click on the icon on the right hand side, and then you want to set this code. Now you may choose your own code. Basically mine is like a light gray, or a transparent white. Now, of course, you may pick any color that will match your scheme, but if you're following along, you may just as well use this one. Now you can't see what it does right now because I haven't added any content, but let's go back to the initial demo, and these are the border lines that you see here. Okay, back to Elementor, you want to click on the Advanced tab, and then you want to unlink the padding values so that we have 0 all around. Okay, let's zoom back out and let's click on Update. Now at this stage, we're not going to set up column number 3, and you'll understand why in a moment. So right now, let's keep on working on what's inside column number 2. So back in Elementor, you want to click on the widgets icon, and then I'm just going to type inner for inner section, and then I'm just going to drag an inner section in column number 2. Okay, next, what I want to do is I want to remove one of the inner columns. So make sure you select the inner column and not the column number 2, if that makes sense. So before I do it, let me show you. So here is inner section, and I'm going to rename it to inner section 1 because, as you may have guessed, we'll have several inner sections. And within this inner section, we have 2 columns. So what I want to do is remove the first column. Now, as you can see, the height of this column doesn't look like in the example demo where it takes half the screen. That's for a simple reason. We added some CSS code, but we need to activate it. So make sure you select the column within section number 1 if you're still following along. And then you want to go to the Advanced tab. And then where it says CSS classes, you want to add this class. So once again, make sure it's exactly spelled like this because once again, it's linked to the CSS code. And now that we've done that, as you can see, it's got the right size. Okay, now let's go back and click on inner section number 1. So where it says content width, you want to change it to full width. Next, you want to click on style. Then you want to click on the border subtab. And where it says border tab, you want to select solid. Then you want to unlink the values, and it's going to be 0 on top, 0 on the right hand side, 1 at the bottom, and 0 on the left. Next, click on the responsive icon, unlink the values, and it's going to be 1 on top, 0 on the right, 1 at the bottom, and 0 on the left. Next, let's pick the mobile version, unlink the values, and this time it's going to be 1 on top and 0 on the right, bottom, and left. Next, where it says color, you want to click on the icon, and once again, you want to add this code. Next, you want to click on advanced, and then you just want to unlink the margin values and unlink the padding values so that we get 0 all around. Okay, let's zoom back out and let's click on update. Next, we want to go back to our desktop view. Then in the navigator, make sure that we have the column within the inner section number 1 selected. So once again, we are in column number 2, then inner section, and then column. So with our column selected, you want to go to the layout tab. And then where it says vertical align, you want to click on bottom. Next, you want to click on the style tab, then click on background. And where it says background type, you want to select classic, click on the color icon. And next, you want to make it fully transparent. Then click on hover. Once again, click on background type, and then you want to pick any color that you want. In my case, I got my specific blue. Okay, next you want to click on the advanced tab. And next where it says padding, I'm going to add 50 pixels all around. Then I'm going to go into tablet mode, unlink the values, and this time it's going to be 0 on top, 0 right, 20 at the bottom, and 40 on the left hand side. And then for the mobile, once again, I'm going to unlink the values. It's going to be 0 on the top right and bottom, and 20 pixels on the left hand side. Next, we've already done it in a previous step, but make sure that where it says CSS classes, you have this class. Okay, let's zoom back out and let's update our work. Now let's go back into desktop view. And now what I want to do is I want to select my inner section here in the navigator. So where it says inner section, I want to right click and click on duplicate. And as you can see, now we have 2 sections, and we're trying to mimic what we see here in the original demo. Okay, next we want to rename our inner section so that at least we know where we are and it's way easier to work. So it's going to be inner section 2. Now with inner section 2 selected, you want to go to the style tab. Then you want to click on border, and we're going to change the values. So now it's going to be 0 all around. And when it comes to the tablet, it's going to be 0 on top, 0 on the right, 10 at the bottom, 0 on the left. And when it comes to the mobile, is going to be the same. So 1 on top, 0 on the right, 0 at the bottom, and 0 on the left. Okay, let's zoom back out. Let's click on update. Now let's go back to the desktop view. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to right click on the column number 3. So I could do it here also. So I'm just going to right click and click on delete. And then I'm going to right click on column number 2 and I'm going to duplicate. And as you can see, the structure width of the column has changed. So you want to select the main section. Then you want to go back to the layout tab. Then you want to click on structure. And once again, we're going to select 50, 25, 25. And there you go. Looks good on the desktop. Now you want to click on the responsive icon. So if you don't know, click on responsive mode. And then here at the top, we're going to click on tablet. And then we're going to select column number 1. Then you want to go to the layout tab and we want to make it 100%. Then let's do the same thing for column number 2, layout tab, 100%. And the same for column number 3, 100%. And as you can see here in the navigator, we need to rename our column because it's a duplicate. So it's going to be column number 3. And now if I go into mobile mode, by default, it's going to pick up the values from the tablet. So it's already 100% all around for each column. Now let's go back into desktop mode. And before we save, there are some values we need to change. So with our column number 3 selected, you want to go to the style tab, then click on border, and we want to change the value. So this time is going to be 0 on the top, 1 on the right, 0 at the bottom, and 0 on the left hand side. And when it comes to the tablet, it's going to be 0 at the top, 0 on the right hand side, 1 at the bottom, and 0 on the left. And when it comes to the mobile, it's staying as is, so 0 all around. So let's zoom back. Let's go back into desktop mode and let's save our work. Okay, starting to look good, but now we need to add our content because as you can see here, we have our logo, we have our menu, as well as 4 other menu elements. And in the top right corner, we have our toggle. Okay, so first of all, you want to click on the widgets icon and then you want to drag a button widget. Next, where it says text, you want to remove all text. Where it says link, you want to click on the dynamic tags icon and then you want to scroll down to pop-up. Then click on the wrench icon and for the action, you want to select close pop-up. Next, where it says icon, you want to click on the icon library and then you're going to type grip for grip lines and we're going to pick this one. Click on insert. Next, you want to click on the style tab, then click on typography. The font size should be 36 and the weight should be 500. Next, for the text color, we want to pick the blue color. And for the color, which is the background color, we want to pick the exact same color that we picked for the text color. Now let's click on the hover tab and we want to pick exactly the same colors. Next, for the padding, we want to unlink the padding values. And then it's going to be 60 on the top, 80 on the right hand side, 5 at the bottom, and 80 on the left hand side. Next, you want to click on the advanced tab and we want to unlink the margin value so that we get 0 all around. Next, you want to click on the transform sub tab and where it says rotate, you want to click on it and type 45. Next, you want to click on the background subtype, click on background type classic, and then you want to pick the exact same color. Next, you want to click on positioning. For the width, in the drop down, you want to select inline auto. Next, for the position, you want to select fixed. The horizontal orientation should be on the right hand side. The offset should be -90. The vertical orientation should be at the top and the vertical offset should be -32. Now, of course, depending on the icon you're going to use, these values may change. You just need to play with those settings. Okay, let's click on update to save our work. Okay, next in the navigator, you want to make sure that you rename the button to toggle. Okay, next you want to click on the widgets icon and then you want to drag an image in the first column. Now, this may be tricky because we've already added a button that is a fixed button. For some reason, it can be hard to actually do this. So what you can do is drag the image to the second column and then try to drag it to the first column and then magically it works. Okay, next I'm going to click on choose image and I'm going to type logo. Of course, it's going to be different for you. I'm just going to pick my logo, click on insert media. Then where it says alignment, I want to put it in the center. And then where it says link, I'm going to select custom URL. And then I'm going to click on the dynamic tags icon and I'm just going to select site URL so that the image is linked to the URL of the website. Next, you want to click on the style tab click on pixels for the width. I'm going to pick 200. Now, once again, this may be different for you, and more than likely it will be different for you. And then I'm going to go into mobile mode and change accordingly. So for me, it's going to be 160 for the mobile. Okay, let's go back into desktop mode. Okay, next you want to click on the widgets icon once again. And then I'm going to start typing nav for nav menu. And I'm just going to drag a nav menu underneath the image. Okay, so for the menu, we want the menu to be our main menu. The layout should be vertical. The alignment should be in the center. Now for the pointer, I want to change it to text and leave the animation as grow. Now for the alignment, I want it to be in the center, and the toggle button, I'm going to select none. Now let's scroll back up. Next, click on the style tab, then click on typography. We want to make it 22 pixels for the desktop and the tablet, and for the mobile is going to be 20 pixels. Now let's go back into desktop mode. Okay, now for the color, for the text color, we want a light color. So I already have my own. Then for the hover color, I want my main blue color, and the same for the active color. Now this is going to work fine for the desktop, but those settings won't apply to the tablet and the mobile. So for that, you want to click on the drop down tab, and now you want to change the text color to a light color. And then our background color, we want to make it transparent. And we want to do the same thing for the hover color. So the text color this time is going to be blue, but the background color is going to be transparent. And the same for the active. So blue, and the background color is going to be transparent. Now let's click on typography, and once again it's going to be 22 pixels, but then let's change it to the mobile version, and this time it's going to be 20 pixels. Okay, let's go back into desktop mode, and let's add a letter spacing of 1, and let's save our work. Okay, next let's click on the widgets icon, and then you want to drag a button right here. And as you can see, because we added an element and because we have our mouse over it, we see the hover effect. If I move out, as you can see, it's back to the initial color. Okay, so here in the left hand side with our button selected, I'm going to change the text. For the link for the moment, I'm just going to leave it like this. Next, click on the icon library, and I'm going to type right, and I'm going to pick this one here, the long arrow. Next, where it says icon spacing, I want to type 12, and I want to make sure that the icon position is after. Next, click on the style tab, and then where it says typography, click on it. The size is going to be 17, the weight 500, and the letter spacing should be 1. Now the text color should be white, and the background color should be transparent. Next, where it says padding, you want to unlink the value so that it's got 0 all around. Next, click on advanced, then transform, and then click on hover, offset, and you want to give it a horizontal offset of 20 pixels. Now, if you recall, in the original demo, the columns are clickable, whereas here only the button is clickable and not the column. So for that, you want to make sure that you select the column where the button is. So in our case, here in the navigator, it's column 2, then intersection, and then the column that's holding the button. So let's click on that column, and then you want to click on the style tab. And because we've installed the Elementor add-ons element plugin, you should see this option here, EAE wrapper link. So you want to enable the link, and then you want to type the name of the page or just paste the link that you want to head to. And now, as you can see, when I hover over this column, it's clickable. Okay, so now in order to go faster, I'm just going to repeat the process. Okay, and now as you can see, when I hover over the columns, they're all clickable and all is looking good. So make sure you save your work, and next let's create our header. Okay, so this is what we currently have for our header, and this is what we want. So there's still a little bit of work to do. So for that, you want to go to templates, theme builder, and you will end here. Now I want to go back to the old view just because I can give it a name from the get-go. So I'm just going to click on switch to table view. Then I'm going to click on add new, and then I'm going to select header. And then if I had several headers, that's going to make it easier. So I'm just going to type custom header 1, click on create template, and we don't need any of this. So I'm just going to close this, then click on the plus sign. We want a structure with 3 columns. So with our column selected, where it says content width, you want to select full width. Now the height should be a minimum height of 65 pixels. The column position should be in the middle, and the overflow should be set to hidden. Now click on the style tab, background type classic, and where it says color, you want to drag the opacity all the way down to make it transparent. So now our header is going to be transparent, but we still need to shift the content up. So click on advanced, you want to unlink the margin values, and then where it says bottom, we want to give it a value of -105. Now the trick is to type 105, then go all the way at the beginning and type the minus sign. That's the fastest way I found to do it. Now bear in mind that this number will change depending on the height of your logo, so you need to play around with those values. So in my case, it's going to be -105. Same thing for the tablet, but for the mobile, I'm going to unlink the values and it's going to be -95. So once again, 95, then I put the minus sign in front. Now let's go back to the desktop view, and where it says padding, I'm going to unlink the values. And for the desktop, it's going to be 20 on the top, 0 on the right hand side, 20 at the bottom, and 30 on the left hand side. Next, for the tablet version, let's unlink the values. It's going to be 20, 30, 20, 30. And for the mobile, once again, let's unlink the values, and it's going to be 10, 20, 20, 20. Okay, so let's go back to the desktop version. And next, where it says Z index or Z index, make sure you type 999. That's very important because otherwise you won't see a header. Okay, let's zoom out and let's save our work. So the first time you click on publish, it's going to ask you where you want to display your template. Click on add condition, include on the entire website, save and close. Okay, next let's open our navigator. So once again, click on the navigator icon. Let's expand our section. And once again, I'm just going to rename the columns. This time it's going to be column A, column B, and column C. Okay, so let's select column A, and where it says vertical align, you want to select middle. Next, you want to click on the advanced tab, and you want to unlink the padding values. Now, specifically for column A, you want to click on the responsive sub tab, and we want to hide this column on mobile. Why? Because it won't be wide enough to have everything here at the top level on the mobile, and it won't look professional. Okay, next, let's select column B, and same thing for the vertical alignment is going to be in the middle. Then you want to go to advanced and unlink the padding values. And let's repeat for column C, middle for the vertical alignment, and let's unlink the padding values. Okay, let's save our work. And next, let's start adding our content. So if we look back at the initial demo, as you can see here on the left-hand side, we have a call to action, and this is what we're going to add. So for that, you want to go back to the pop-up that we just created, and I'm just going to copy the toggle button that we created. So I'm going to right click, copy, and then let's go back to our header. And right here in the first column, I'm going to right click and paste. Now, because it's a fixed element, it appears on the right hand side, but we're going to change that. So make sure you have the toggle button selected, and then where it says text, we're going to add contact. Then where it says link, you want to remove the pop-up, and you want to paste the URL address or just look for the name of the page and Elementor will find it for you. Next, you want to remove the icon, so you want to select none. Let's zoom back out and let's click on the style tab. Next, click on typography and change the font size to 20. And then for the color, you want to change the text color to a lighter color, and our background is going to be our main color. And then click on hover and it's going to be the opposite. So the text color is going to be our main color and the background color is going to be a lighter color. Next, for the padding value, it's almost the same except that it's going to be 60 on top, 80 on the right, and then it's going to be 20 at the bottom and 80 on the left. Now for the tablet, same thing. And by default, it keeps the values. Now I won't set up the mobile version because as we saw previously, for this call to action button, there won't be a mobile version. Okay, next you want to go to advanced, transform, and let's zoom back out. Let's go back into desktop mode, and where it says rotate, you want to change it to -45 instead of 45. Next, click on positioning, and this time we want the horizontal orientation to be on the left hand side. We want the horizontal offset to be -90 and the vertical offset to be -22. Let's save our work. Okay, we're getting there. Next, you want to click on the widgets icon. Then you want to drag an image. So I'm just going to type image, and you want to drag it in the middle column. Then click on the image and select your logo. Then for the alignment, select center. For the link, I'm going to select custom URL, then click on the dynamic tags logo. and then I'm just going to select site URL. Next, I want to go to the style tab, and where it says width, I'm going to give it a width of 200 pixels. And for the mobile, it's going to be 160 pixels. Okay, so let's go back to our desktop view and let's click on update to save our work. Okay, next we are ready to add our angled navicon. So once again, I'm going to go back to the pop-up that we previously created. And then with the navigator, I'm going to right click on the toggle button, click on copy. Then I'm going to go back and paste the toggle button in the third column. Okay, and with the toggle button selected, go into the content tab, and where it says link, I'm going to click on the wrench icon. And because we copied it from the pop-up, the action said close pop-up, but instead we want to select open pop-up. Then where it says all, you want to click on it and type the name of your pop-up, which if you remember, a very creatively named pop-up. Okay, let's zoom back out. Okay, and next you want to click on the style tab, and where it says text color, you want to change it to a lighter color, and then click on hover. And this time I'm going to change the background color to a different color so that when you hover over it, you can see that there is an interaction. Okay, let's click on update to save our work. And now if we go back to the front end, I'm just going to refresh the page. And as you can see, we have our header. And here in the top left corner, we have our contact button. And if I scroll, it's working fine, still fixed. And the same goes for our angled navicon. Okay, now let's click on the navicon. And there you go, we have our beautiful navigation. And now if we take a look at the tablet version, if I tap on the navicon, as you can see, it's not quite like it should be. Actually, it should be like what you see here on the homepage. Now let's take a look at the mobile version. Let's type on the navicon. And as you can see here, it's almost good, but the padding is not right. So let's troubleshoot this. So first of all, we need to troubleshoot this part here, and then we'll troubleshoot the padding here. So let's go back to Elementor and let's go into tablet mode. So this is the pop-up that we created. And first of all, you want to select column number 1, go into the layout tab, make sure that it says 100% for the column width. Then select column number 2, layout tab, and this time it's going to be 50%. And then column 3, layout tab, and once again 50%. Okay, so now it's looking good. Let's go back and let's refresh our page. And now let's click on the navicon, and now it's looking good. Okay, now let's go back to Elementor and click on the mobile icon. And now you want to select each column individually. So this is column within the intersection 1. Go to advanced, and where it says bottom, you want to add 20. So it's going to be 20 pixels. You want to do the same for the other columns. So 20 pixels at the bottom, 20 and 20. Next, click on update. Okay, let's go back. Let's refresh. Click on the navicon. And as you can see, it's looking good. So once again, this is what we've built. So here on the home page, as we scroll, we can see the call to action stay fixed, as well as the angle navicon. And if I click on the navicon, we have this beautiful full screen navigation. And when I hover over any column, it's clickable. Next, the tablet version. And if I tap on the navicon, it's got its very own beautiful layout. And the same goes for the mobile version. So if I tap on the navicon, it's got its own layout. And by the way, if you like the branding that I created for this website, I created a brand identity guidelines template that you can download on my website for free. Initially, it was created for Affinity Designer, but you can use it with Adobe Illustrator with a workaround. So if you're interested, just go to casino.com/branding and follow the instructions. You got nothing to lose, it's completely free. Now, one more thing that you can do, and that will be the cherry on the cake, is to give this video a thumbs up if you appreciate the content. Just going to be a tiny step for you, just a split second, but for me, it's going to change so much for this channel. And if you want more creative content coming your way, make sure you subscribe and smash the notification bell so that you don't miss anything. Now, I can't wait to see what you're going to come up with after this tutorial. And don't forget, I'm trying to build the content I wish I had when I got started. So I'll see you in the next one, and until then, take care and stay safe.